So I am in the console. I am from the root account, and let's go to IAM console. So first of all, be clear about what is console and what is CLI. Basically, console means whatever the graphical things you are visualizing right now. So Windows, everything is graphical. You have to go and click, right? You double click this thing. Okay, I will go to downloads. You double click any document, it is opening. Okay, double click any photos. This is some document. So this is a graphical interface. Everything is nice and beautiful. So this is called console. Basically, console means a graphical interface, GUI base. And what is command line? Command line is just like command prompt. I can go to downloads, document, downloads, same folder. So here I'm in download. From command line also I'm in download folder. And if I these are the files available in my download folder. If I want to open a file, I will just paste this file and the file is open. So this is your command line. So all the things which you are doing by GUI nowadays, everybody working on GUI based system. So you have a mouse cursor, but if I remove the mouse, can you operate Windows? So here you can see all the folders in my C drive. You can see all the folders. If I want to go to program files, here I can list all the folders, files. You can see if I want to go to download, go to download folder again. dir, you can see these are the file. This is a directory. Okay, this is a directory. Apart from every other things is file, Skype, all these things. So so CLI basically command line interface, or sometimes we call backend also. GUI, many people do call it front end. So right now, this is my browser. In my browser, I'm opening AWS console. So here you can see this is a console, means this is a graphical interface of AWS. Even you can control AWS using CLI also. AWS LS, S3 LS. If I want to see S3 right now, it is not configured in my local. I require a password, but all the things which we want to do, we can do. You can see some roles and all the things. We can access to console as well. Let's go to IAM now. This is a dashboard here. Every roles and policies you can create. So in the left side, I'm going to create a user. So I will click on the users, and you can see there is no user in my console right now. In my AWS account, only one user is there. That is a root user, default user. Now let's create an IAM user. So I talk about this, that we can create apart from root user, every user is IAM user. So let's go and add a user. So now a new window is open, or you can see add a user. So give a name. Give a name Varshil underscore. Varshil is working in IT department right now, or yeah, IT department just now. Varshil and his department name. This is a username. Let it, everything will be small. Varshil. Sometime it is case sensitive as well. Okay, so and it is IT. This is the username. Now next thing, select the AWS access. So you can see there are two type of access, programmatic access and a console access. So what is my programmatic access? Enable an access key and a secret key for AWS API, CLI, SDK or other development tool. So basically, just now I told you I can access AWS using CLI and console. Using CLI and console. As a admin, I have a power, I have a right that this user should access AWS through console, means web browser, or through backend, through command line, or I can give it both. So you can access AWS in two ways, through GUI, means through browser, or through backend, So whenever we are creating a user, we have to decide the user. Here I am creating Varshil_IT. This user should have either programmatic access or console access. The password for both this access are different. To log in into console, we have a different password. To log in through backend, we have different password. If we assign both the access, then this user will get two type of password. One is console password and other is programmatic password. So right now I'm just giving Varshil as a console access. So here you can see enable a password. In programmatic you can see access key and a secret key. So I told you there are two type of passwords, console password and programmatic password. The programmatic password are called access key and a secret key. And console password is a general password. As soon as I click on the console access, few more options are populated. So the first is console password. Means let Amazon generate the password automatically. It is a automated generated password, auto generated password from Amazon, or you can create a password as from your as well. So let Amazon generate the password. Now, second thing, required password to reset. So that means whenever the user log in first time with auto generated password, that password need to be changed by the user and the password user has to set a new password. So user must create a new password at next sign in. So I'm creating a user, I'm giving that user console access and we are asking Amazon to create a password for them. And as soon as the user log in first time, the password need to be reset. Next, here you can see add user, set permission. Set permission. There are three options: add user to a group, copy permission from existing user. There is nothing right now. Add user to the group. There is no group is there. No users are there. Attach existing policy directly. Right now, I'm not doing anything. I'm not selecting anything. I'm not attaching anything right now. I'm not setting any permission. Let's go and create tag. So now what is tag? Have you visited supermarket? Any of the supermarket, any mall? There are person dedicatedly assigned for helping you and they have a tag name on their pocket. So tags are similar. You can give an additional information about this user. Example, name, so the Varshil, department, so IT, date of creation, you can give 29 September 2021, anything. So these are the extra information which can be used in the future to understand why this user is created, in which team this user is there. If I'm not giving anything, so nothing, no information. It's optional, not mandatory. So every resource we are creating in AWS, you have an option to add an additional tag. Okay, so in which team this person is working, who has created this, even I can give my name that I have created this user. So in the future, I can have extra information if I want to understand why this role is created, by whom this role is created, what is the purpose of creating the role. All this information I can add. So you can add up to 50 tags. You can add 50 more tags. Okay, total up to 50. So in your organization, in your team, in your company, they do ask you to put up proper tags for future reference. Next, and now is the fourth step is to review. So username. What are you doing? You are giving the user as a console access with a password. The password is auto generated. Password need to be reset after the first login. No permission is set here, boundary permissions. Password policy, change the policy as soon as the user is created. It means login first time, and some tags. Okay, tags are optional. You don't have to do that. If I go back and I remove all the tags, doesn't matter. It's optional. But in an organization where you have hundreds of thousands of people are working in same AWS account, in organization, I told you there will be only one account. Why tags are important? Because let's say I'm working on this project and after 6 months I leave this project. I have created this user. I know why I created this user because it was created by me. But if I leave the organization and the next person who take over my position will don't know why this user is created. So using the tags, he or she might able to understand, right? Some extra information he will be able to get. That's why the tags are important. Even for billing purpose also. So why? If you have a tag like a project name or the module name or project name or team name. So in the billing section, you can segregate basis on tag. So this team is spending how much money on AWS using tags. They help in billing also for organization. So let's go and just click on the create button. So you can see the user is created successfully. Now you can see there is a button called download CSV. If I click this, you can see a CSV has been downloaded. But here you can see there is a password. You can see the password which is generated by Amazon, or you can send it to email. Just like if this person this is an organization, right? If you join any organization or any institute, that person will have an email ID. So you can send this Excel sheet to that person. So what's there in the Excel sheet? We'll see. But if I click close button now, then after this point, I will not able to see the password. I'm repeating. After this point, as an admin or as a AWS user, I will not able to see the password again. If the user forgets the password, so I can't recover the password. I have to reset the password. Recovery means I can use the same password. But if user lose the password after this point, you can reset the password, but you can recover the password. You can't see the password again. So this password is one time. If you delete, if you close the window, you can't see the password. If you have downloaded the file, that's okay. The password is here. But after this point, you won't able to see the password. So close. So it is important to download the file or mail it to the user. If you don't download, you can mail it. If you are not mailing it and you're not downloading the password, then you won't able to see the password again. Close. So now inside the user, you can see number of user 1. Name is Varshil. So I have created a user. Username is Varshil and group none. Activity never, no activity from this user. So you can monitor even when this user has logged in the first time. So that's, did this user have a MFA? We talk about MFA, multi-factor authentication, when the password was created or used and other things. If you click on the user, you can see the permission, groups, tag, security credentials, and access advisory. We will see in detail. Let's try to log in with this user. So right now you can see the console. I am in incognito mode. So I am opening Mozilla Firefox. Username, password, access key and secret key are blank. Why these two are blank? Because we haven't provided this user with CLI access or programmatic access. I told you, if we provide a programmatic access, they will have a different username and password. They will have a different credentials. Where this user will log in? AWS, in AWS we have thousands of accounts, right? Which account do this user has to log in? Will that user will know? Now, if I go to console, if I enter console.aws.com, it will navigate me and it will ask me the root user or IAM user. You can see it is asking me root user or IAM user. Is Virtual IT is a root user. This user is a IAM user, right? So I have to click on IAM user. Now, as soon as I click on the IAM user, this user here, it is asking me 12-digit account number. So you can see this here. This is the account number. This is the URL which comes in your Excel. So you can use this account number, 12-digit account number, copy this thing and put it here. This is my account number. I will show you 514, right? 51462. Let's go. You can check it. 516462. So basically here, this user, first of all, you have to give the account number. If you click next, then it will ask the username and password. You can see the IAM username and the password. OK, so after giving the proper or correct 12-digit number or account number, then Amazon will navigate you to username and password. So what is the user? So this is a username. Let's put it here, and the password. This is the password. I'm copy pasting it. So let's click on sign in. You can see Varshill username. Now it's asking me the old password. So I'm entering the old password. Now give a new password. So give any good strong password to it. Console is looking same, but you can see the difference here. It's a root user. There will be no IAM here. But if it's a IAM user, you can see Varshill @ account number. Let's see this user can access what application. Let's go to IAM. OK, I am using Varshill credentials. Oh, Varshill is getting an error. You do not have permission. You do not have permission. You do not have permission. Nothing is able to display on Varshill console. You can see error, error, error. Let's go on users. You do not have permission. Let's check roles. OK, roles again. I'm getting an error. Policies, everything, nothing is there. Let's go to S3. Let's go to S3 console. So you do not have permission. If I go to root account, I can see everything. I can see role. So I'm in Parag account. OK, root account. Policies. If I go to S3. Everything is working fine. You can see the buckets. You can see something is there, right? Why if I'm going to Varshill, I'm logging at Varshill, Varshill is not able to see anything. This user is not able to see anything. Here I have created an user as a Varshill. Means Varshill can log into system. That's it. Just like ID card is created, and after that, that person can navigate in the campus. The Varshill can log in only. He can't access any of the services. Whatever service you can name it. There are hundreds of services are there, right? Click on the rendered service. Click. Let's go to CloudWatch. You can see error. Let's go to alarms. Can you see everywhere Varshill is getting an error? So this is the exam question. They will frame a question like this. You have created a user. User is able to log in into the console, but not able to access any services. What might be the reason? So the suitable answer will be the user doesn't have any permission or policy attached. So I have to go to again to my root account, right? This is my root account. You can see Parag here. Let's go to the user from the root account. Okay, I am in root account. Going on Varshil. So you can see the permission. There is no permission, only the password change was there. So I will click on add permission. Again, you can see the three options. First option, add user group. There is nothing, blank. Avoid that. Copy from permission from existing users. Avoid that right now. Let's go to the third part. Attach existing policy directly. So let's select one policy. IAM read only. You can enter anything. OK, so as you will mature enough, you will get to know what are the policies available. OK, I know that this IAM read only policy is there. So I can attach, I can click this. And if I click on review, you can attach multiple policies. If you want to attach single policy, you can attach single policy. If you want to attach multiple policy, S3 read. OK, you can click here. So right now I have only given IAM read. You can see IAM read. Let's click on review. So you can see what are you doing? You are giving IAM read only access. OK, done. Permission granted. Now you can see here I'm in virtual user. In the permission section, you can see the permission attached to a user. Let's go and log in to Varshil again. So Varshil is here. You can see Varshil. Again, click on IAM. Oh, now there is no error. You can see. Now you can see something on the dashboard. Let's go to the user. Okay, Varshil can see the users now. Can Varshil delete a user? Let's click on and delete. Varshil not deleted. User ID not deleted. Why? You can see is not Varshil is not authorized to perform delete action. Why? Because we have only given him read access. No delete, no update, no addition. Can this user add a new user? Varshil is a user. Can this add a new user? Let's try. Give any name, test, give programmatic access, next, 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 and next. So you can see unable to create a user. Why? Because Varshil is not authorized to perform create action. What permission we have given to Varshil? Only read access. Okay, let's try to access S3 bucket again. I can't access S3 bucket, okay, because we only have provided IAM access, not S3 access. So Varshil can only access IAM. I'm in admin, I'm in Parag, you can see. If you add a permission, one more permission, let's add one more permission, S3 read. S3 read only. Click here and review. So I'm attaching one more permission. So now you can see there are two permission. IAM read only and S3 read only. And I'm switching to, and I ask Varshil to just check if that user got access or not. So I'm in Varshil now, right now. And I will just refresh. You can see right now in S3, Varshil got an error, permission deny. So what you have to do? You have to just refresh once. Error is gone.